Welcome to the Wizards Institute of Technology. How to play Chaos Incarnate. Our strategy for playing this deck is to use our commander at the right time to force our opponents to attack each other. We'll also play politics, giving cards or favors to other players to stay in the game. We'll use the advantage of black and red to hit our opponents with direct damage, both as ping damage as well as larger spells. We'll keep our opponents guessing by being chaotic, and we'll use a variety of powerful cards to secure the victory. Our strengths include very powerful creatures and spells that can do 15 or more damage to the table. We'll have options to negotiate with our opponents by gifting card draw or destroying targets, and we'll always be influencing the table. Weaknesses are the high mana cost of our creatures and spells, having a relatively low number of creatures, and generating a high level of hate or threat, which we must manage. We only have 20 creatures, but we have some incredibly powerful ones. Archfiend of Depravity will completely shut down most strategies and become the number one problem at the table. Expect it to be removed with utmost haste. Kevik the Merciless is our backup commander, but at 7 mana it's really too expensive for that role. It's immensely powerful, and will also present a huge problem for our opponents when it's on the battlefield if it's not dealt with quickly. We have a large spellbook with 22 sorcery and instant spells. We have many options to remove our opponent's creatures to stop them or slow them down. Our game plan will be firstly to overcome the high cost of our spells by ramping. In the early stages of the game, we will be open to being attacked, so avoiding hate is essential. In the mid-game, we should have some creatures to protect our board and play ping damage to slowly wear our opponents down. We want to play politics by offering our opponents our help or cards so we can avoid becoming the threat. When we are ready to deploy our power, we should also play our commander, so that our opponents will be forced to deal with each other instead of our threats. If we can make it to the end game, we will have many options to secure victory, from big flying creatures to direct damage spells and targeted removal, or making our opponents sacrifice their army. In the early game, we want to ensure we have enough mana in our starting hand, and we'll look for these cards to help us accelerate our game. As our creatures and spells are expensive, this is critical. It's also important for us to manage hate. Many of our creatures and spells will attract too much attention or become the threat at the table. We should play carefully, dropping ping damage or offering cards in return. If we have been successful at avoiding hate, we'll make it to the end game, and we can finish our opponents with spells such as these. Another tool that we have in this deck is the ability to copy or steal our opponent's creatures or spells. The best thing about doing this is that our power will scale to whatever our opponents bring to the table, allowing this deck to hang with more powerful decks and remain enjoyable to play. Chaos Incarnate is fantastic because it has a ton of interaction, allows you to play politics and cut deals with your opponents, and while it doesn't have a cohesive or synergistic game plan, it has many big bombs it can drop, and your opponents won't know what you will do next. It can hang with more powerful decks, and it has many ways to finish the game. There are also a few valuable commander staples in the deck list that are great to have in your collection, such as Lightning Greaves, Blasphemous Act, Talisman of Indulgence, and Soul Shadow. As such, we can highly recommend this deck. You can pick these up on sale quite often, and you'll really enjoy playing it. Thank you for visiting the Wizards Institute of Technology. Be sure to follow for more content.